Hey, it is 12 noon on Friday, which means it's time for this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Kurtzman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Friday, 12 noon Eastern time, to help you mastermind, to grow your real estate business. And what we're talking about today are 5 changes. 5 changes that you can make today to start making more money. So 5 changes that you're very easy to implement. They're going to be small changes, but you do these small changes, it's overall just going to shift your think, it's going to shift your actions, and it's going to really shift the entire trajectory of your life. So these 5 things are coming up on State of Real Estate. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. State of Real Estate. And welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate, where this week's topic are 5 changes that you can implement in your life to start making more money. So these 5 changes, let's get right into them. So this is something that you might think is completely unrelated to making money. Now, the very least common denominator. So maybe you remember like math, doing like fraction stuff, least common denominator. You want to find something that's the same everywhere. When it comes down to anything making money related, it's all going to come back to where you're involved. If it's about you making money, it's you as the least common denominator, your body, your vessel. And that's something that you want to take care of. So this is a change that is going to get you just feeling more optimistic and more positive about life automatically if you do this. It might be a little rough at first, but this is something that I live by. And that's to start your day with a workout. Now, you might say, well, John, exercise has nothing to do with making money. Isn't it going to take away time from me making money? And yes, it will take away time for you making money. I mean, unless you're making like phone calls while you're at the gym, but then that's really not the best use of your time there at the gym. And look, it doesn't even have to be at a gym. Maybe you just go out, maybe you just go for a walk. If you're like an inactive person, then that's okay. Just start with something. Maybe walking, maybe swimming in a pool. But look, you want to start your day with this. So I used to work out in the evenings. After work, I'd go and work out. Leave work and go work out. And, it's good to start with something like that. But when you shift that to the morning, what does it make you do? It makes you get up earlier. It makes you get moving. And so the way that I like to look at it is that you're doing the most difficult thing, the most strenuous thing, first thing in the morning. When you do the most strenuous thing first thing in the morning, the thing that's literally going to take the most effort, whether that's running, whether that's lifting weights, whatever it is that you're doing, do something to get your blood pumping, because trust me, you will feel better. You'll feel more excited and more optimistic, and it's just a great way to set your day up for success, because you'll know that, hey, everything else, it's going to be easier. I might have to use my mind. I might maybe even have to maybe you do some sort of manual labor. You might have to use your muscles a little bit. But when you make that first thing you do in the day the most difficult thing, which if it's not the most difficult thing, then turn up the gas on your workout, make it a little bit more difficult. It really just causes everything to have a nice ripple effect going forward. So that's number 1. Now, number 2, right along with this, get up early. Why? Because it's putting you out of your comfort zone. Now, maybe you're not a morning person. Maybe you are a morning person. Can you get up earlier? Now, if you're already doing number 1 to start your day with a workout, and you don't do that already, you're going to have to get up earlier. But this challenge of getting yourself out of your comfort zone, to roll yourself out of your bed, even though you don't have to, and look, it's still, I won't lie to you, it doesn't get much easier. You're still going to be tired. You're still going to be wanting to go back, curl up back in bed in a nice warm bed. And you might not want to roll right out of it. But when you make that conscious effort, again, you're doing difficult things. You're doing things that take work on your part. And that makes everything else after this so much easier. So number three on this list of 5 things, 5 changes that are going to make more money. Now you might look at these things and say, well, there's no direct money being made off of this. And you're right, you're not getting paid to work out. Who knows, maybe you are. Maybe you're like a personal trainer and you do get paid to work out. You're not getting really paid directly for waking up earlier. Someone's not standing there, because I bet if somebody was going to give you a check when you completed a workout, you would do it. If somebody was going to give you a check for waking up a little bit earlier, you would do it. So these aren't direct payments. These are going to be indirect things that really help set up your whole day for success. Now, number 3 is to train daily. To train, to expand your knowledge, to learn, whatever you want to call it. To do that daily. To spend, it doesn't have to be crazy amounts of stuff. It's maybe 15 minutes that you're spending of training, of expanding your knowledge, and not like where you're trying to do something and you've got to go Google how to do it. That doesn't count. Again, you want to set up your day for success with this, and you want to go out of your way to learn something. It might not directly impact your life right now. Then again, the workout, you're not getting paid directly for it. Getting up early, you're not getting paid directly for it. The training, you're not getting paid directly to do some sort of training. But when you, maybe on your commute, you listen to maybe some sort of podcast, and I'm not talking about some sort of podcast that's just about some nonsense that doesn't really translate to anything that you could use. Now, you might not use that exact information right that very day, right that very moment, but seek out training towards your specialized area of expertise that's going to ultimately help you make more money, because you'll understand more ways to make money. And when you make a habit out of this, you know, they say the average CEO reads like 1,000 books a year or 100 books a year or whatever the statistic is. They read books, and they don't just read books, they do everything it is that they can to expand their knowledge, to be able to learn, to be able to train, not just to keep up with the market, because if you're not doing this, you're not going to be able to keep up with the market. So if you want to be able to just keep up with the market, you want to make sure that every day you're taking in new information so you can adjust as the market changes, whatever your business may be, whether it's real estate or otherwise. But not just to keep up, but to expand, to be able to grow bigger. If you ever find yourself in the point where you're not looking for any additional growth, where you start to become complacent with where it is that you're at, watch as everything else in your life just starts to become less exciting. When you have something, some goal, some finish line that you're running towards, everything else is much more exciting. When you're moving, when you're having growth, when the whole law of inertia we talked about on the last episode we did, of an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion. So when you're taking these conscious efforts every single day to get yourself in motion, you will see immense benefits to everything it is that you're doing. Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I still got 2 more things for you, 5 changes you can implement that's going to help you make more money. So stick with us. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate. Now, this experience could actually even be earned outside of Florida. It just has to be 2 years within the last 5 years. So 2 years of experience to become a broker. You also need to take a pre-licensing course. The broker pre-licensing course is 72 hours. It's got a 100 question and, of course, exam. Once you pass that and file all your paperwork with the state to upgrade to a broker license, then you just need to pass your state exam. That's another 100 question exam. You need to get a 75% on that. You complete those items and you'll have a Florida real estate broker license where you can open your own office or just remain with your current broker as a broker associate. To find out more about upgrading your real estate license to broker, check out upgradeToBroker.com. That's upgradeToBroker.com. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Chrismo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, to help you take your business to the next level. And what we're covering today are 5 changes that you can implement in your life that's going to help you make more money. And these are things, and that's why we're doing a whole video about this, because this isn't stuff that's ultimately you're not getting paid directly for it. I'm not saying, work more. Although that's another way to make some more money, is to work more, to do more, to be more. But all I'm covering right here is just little things that is just going to make your life feel like it has more of a structure to it. It has more of a structure. Again, you do the most difficult thing right there first thing in the morning, I guarantee you're going to feel better. Now, at first, you'll probably feel a little wiped out, you'll feel a little tired, but once you start to make a habit out of this, it really kind of makes it so everything you do after that is just so much easier. Trust me, because there have been days where I've gone to work out and then days where I do hit the snooze button, where I do roll over and sleep for whatever the reason might be. And those days are, if we're going to grade them on pass, fail, the days where I do work out are almost always passes. And the days if I don't, it's a fail. And again, this has nothing to do with what I do here at Tampa School of Real Estate. But you are the least common denominator, your body. So you want to get that thing tuned up and ready to go. I mean, you don't have to be a bodybuilder or something, but move yourself a little bit, and trust me, you will see immense benefits. That's probably the number one thing that will just change your life altogether, is right there. Then number 2, getting up a little bit earlier. Challenge yourself to get up a little bit earlier so you could put more time in your day to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. So getting up a little bit earlier, you might already have to do that to work out. And doing that, making that decision to get up and start this sooner. And that's what leads me into number 4. Is to not wait. Don't wait. If there's something that you need to do, that needs to be done, something that's taking up your mental capacity, that is ultimately being a distraction from what it is you have at your forefront, don't wait to get it done. You know, they have that saying of, eat the frog. And what that means is do these difficult things. Now, there's probably not going to be anything that's going to be more strenuous and more difficult than a good workout. But then you might have some other things that are next up on the list. Maybe a client that you've got to call that isn't going well. There's some issue, there's some sort of problem, and you've been dreading making that call. Do it. Don't wait. Put it into action. Get it over with. Get it off your plate so you can focus on everything else. And this is something I try to do every single day. As soon as I can get something resolved, if I see that resolution there and I just got to take an action that maybe I don't want to take, if you do it, if you take that action, it clears you out. So now you can focus on those other things. Whereas if you keep this in the back of your head, it's just lolling there and mulling there. And again, this is something that, and this, I don't expect, I'm not perfect with all these things, and I don't expect you to be either. But these are things you want to try to implement every single day. And again, these aren't things that you're directly getting paid for. But the quicker it is you take action, the more you take time out of the equation. So you've probably heard me say before, if you've watched State of Real Estate or asked the instructor about, you will be successful in real estate, it's just a matter of time. And you just want to try to take that time out of the equation as much as possible. By not waiting to get things done, you're taking time out of the equation. And if this is related to some sort of issue that you don't want to deal with, the sooner you take care of it, the easier it's going to be to solve. The more it swells up. You know, imagine if you've ever used like a pressure cooker before. So if you've never used a pressure cooker before, here's the way a pressure cooker works. It's you put the food inside of it, you seal it up, and then it creates pressure in there. And there's all this steam that gets trapped in there that cooks food super quickly. Well, when there's an issue, when there's a problem, it's like a pressure cooker. And the longer that steam sits in there, the more that steam starts to build up, especially if that fire is still going and you haven't turned it off yet. If there's still fire coming into that, heating it up, that steam's just going to keep building it up, to eventually, if you don't let that steam out and this is left unchecked, that pressure cooker will explode. And that could be a deal that you have, that could be a client that you have, it could be any sort of issue or problem it is that you're dealing with. The more time you leave to have something like this without getting resolved, the more that's going to build up the pressure and the harder it's going to be to diffuse the situation. And with the pressure cookers, they usually have that little steam release valve. You hit that, and then all the steam starts shooting out. The sooner you get that out of there, the less steam there will be. The sooner you take care of this, the easier it's going to be to remedy. And that applies with almost anything. Things swell in perceived importance as you put them off, as you procrastinate. And look, by my nature, I don't know why, it is what it is. By my nature, I'm a procrastinator. You might be as well. And that's something, when you've got that special characteristic of being a procrastinator, that special trait, that special gene, whatever it is that causes it, but you know you're a bit of a procrastinator, this is going to be one of the things that you've got to really put at your forefront. That, okay, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to get things done as soon as they come up, and it's really going to make you feel empowered. That you're getting things done. That you're making progress. And what is that going to do? Again, an object in motion stays in motion, so the more things you start to get done that you get crossed off your list, the more things you will get crossed off your list because you're not waiting around to get things done. And what happens when you take more actions? When you take more actions, you take time out of the equation and you're going to make money faster. You know, if we talk about making $100,000, and I asked you, could you make $100,000? And well, you'd probably ask that question of, well, how long? I said, well, no, all the time in the world. The rest of your life, could you make $100,000? Well, if we put 10 years on that $100,000, almost anybody can make $100,000 if you're getting just $10,000 a year. If you're only making $10,000 a year, you will make $100,000 across 10 years. But obviously, $10,000 a year isn't a whole lot, so the time is a very important variable in keeping this all in check here. So let's say we cut that down to 5 years. Now what are we looking at? Well, instead of $10,000 a year, we need $20,000 a year to get this done in 5 years. Now what if we want to do this in a year? Okay, well, in a year, what can we break this down further into? We break this down into a monthly, and the monthly is like $8,300. So by us taking that, and ask yourself that question, this seems obvious. Would you rather make $100,000 across 10 years or $100,000 across 1 year? Or maybe across 1 month? 1 month or 1 week or 1 day even. And as we take time out of the equation, the benefit, how much that $100,000 is worth is a lot more, because is $100,000 over 10 years worth a lot? Not over 10 years, not even really over 5 years, but across a year, yeah, that's worth a pretty good amount. Across a month, it's worth even more. So don't wait, and make that a practice. Make that something that you apply. These are all universal things that you could apply. By doing these things, it's not like you're going to get a license. It's not like you're working a little bit harder. This is really changing who you are as a person. And remember that the least common denominator when you're making money is you. So you start your day with a workout, you get a little bit earlier, you train on something, whether that's reading a book, watching some sort of educational video system or something like that. And then when it comes to taking actions, you get right to it and right to solving that. You get those done right away, so then you have time left over. And when you have time left over, now what? I mean, there's so many more things it is that you could do. And again, once you get in the habit of getting things done and getting them done as quickly as possible, you're going to become an expert at getting things done. And people get things done, what's going to happen? Well, are you going to get all these things done across 10 years? Or are you going to get them done across 1 year? Again, how much can you take the time out of the equation and speed up the process and the speed at which you make money? Because across 10 years, $100,000 is nothing. But across a year or across a month, now we're really talking. So that's rule number 4 here. Do not wait. Change number 4. Do not wait. Anything it is that you could do, don't wait. Now, number 5. Is to say yes. And this is difficult. And there are going to be things it is that you want to say no to. But if it is something that has any potential to make you better, to grow you, to develop you, you want to find out how it is that you could say yes. And sometimes this means that you've got to change the question. You've got to shift the question. You've got to change what the problem is in front of you into something where you could say yes, that you could do that. Because if the whole thing about if you ask wrong questions, if you ask bad questions, you'll get bad answers. But if you ask the right questions, and these right questions that lead to a yes. So you might say something like, and this is something like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is something that like he's been famous for in a lot of his books. The whole rich dad concept versus the poor dad of, I can't afford something. And you shift that question to, how can I afford something? What do I need to do? I could afford it if I do these things. Yes, I can afford it if I could do these things. And notice how you shift that. When you change that from just a statement saying, oh, we can't do that, that's not possible, that's an issue. How can we say yes? How do we turn a problem into a greater solution? And it seems really simple here, but this will really make it that if you could do this, and it's easier said than done, trust me on that. It's easier said than done to just say yes to things. But if you could get to that point of saying yes. Now, let's say you've got somebody that comes to you that wants to buy a house, and you're relatively busy. And let's say that this is only a $100,000 property they're looking to buy. And you're like, oh, well, I'm so busy, and I'm normally selling like $400,000 or $500,000, so no, I don't want your business. What did you just do there? You said no to the worst thing it is you could say no to, and that's money. Yes, that money comes at a cost of your time, of what it is that you're doing. But now how, and this is where it gets a little tricky, because what do you need to do to be able to say yes to that person? Maybe you personally cannot help them buy a property. And if that's the case, if you get to the point where you ever have to turn away business, if you ever have to say no to somebody, that's the point where you need to grow. That's the point where you're maybe ready to start building out a team. And if you don't want to do that, if you just want to be happy with what it is that you're doing and not really grow much anymore, that's going to be all right at first. But again, that complacency, it's almost like a disease. When you're stuck too much in the same rut, doing the same thing, and there's not really any growth, there's no finish line in sight because you're already at the finish line, that party's going to get old. And you're going to start getting discouraged, and you're going to start to not enjoy what it is that you're doing. And so when you can say yes to new things that you would normally say no to, and again, it's not the question, it's not just saying yes, because you'll get yourself in trouble if you just say yes to things without any plan of action to get them taken care of. But again, in the real estate space, that $100,000 client comes to you. Now, you might not have time personally to work with them, and that might not be worth your time for that level of a deal. And maybe you don't want to build a team, but let's get an agent that we could refer this person to. This person came to us asking for our help, and you want to say no to them. And you might have to say no because of your time, but no for me, but still overall a yes. That, hey, yes, absolutely, we'll get you taken care of. I've got somebody who specializes in homes in this area, or homes in that price point, or whatever it is that you're ultimately making that shift to. And even if this person isn't officially part of your team, if this is somebody you regularly send referrals to, they're on your team. They're on your side. They're there to help these people, and ultimately you make money off of that. So yes, they are part of your team. And again, that's just one example of how, okay, what can I do to say yes? And now let's say this whole start a workout. Start your day with a workout. And you say, oh, well, my mornings are so crazy. I've got to take the kids to school. I've got to feed the dog. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got laundry that I've got to take care of. I've got to be to work at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever time that might be. How can you say yes to that? What do you have to do to say yes? Maybe it's getting up earlier. And then how do you say yes to that? Maybe you're like, oh, well, I'm a person that needs X amount of hours of sleep. Okay, well then go to bed earlier. Trust me, that is something that will really change things a little bit as well. It's not on the list, didn't make the cut for this list here, but you're just going to sleep a little bit earlier. You'll feel more well-rested doing that as well. So how do you say yes to these things? Training daily. Oh, I don't have time, or I don't know what the right information is. Don't make excuses. Figure out how you could say yes. Because you saying yes to things will lead to greater things. Because you say no, you're pushing yourself away from opportunity. And if you make that your habit, that you're just constantly pushing yourself away from opportunity, you're going to push yourself further and further and further away from opportunity. But when you start to get in a habit of yes, now some things are going to be difficult that you're saying yes to. Some things are going to be a challenge. But you taking on new problems, you taking on new challenges, you doing things that wouldn't necessarily be considered ordinary or average. Look, you don't want to fall victim to that averageness. What does it mean to be average? Well, being average, you could have an average income. You could have an average life. You could have average happiness, which if you look at the amount of people that are prescribed antidepressants and so on and so forth, that are seeking counseling and all that, average happiness is a lot lower than maybe total complete happiness. So you think of that word average, and average, we're taught that average is okay. Average is okay. That, yeah, you could just blend in and be average. At least you're not failing. At least you're not doing bad. But when you look at your potential, When you look at your potential versus just what your quota for average is there more that you could do? And when you go on this quest for more, by doing all these things plus a whole lot of other things, this isn't the only things you have to do. These are just changes that I think if you could start making these changes, these things you could, if you already work out a little harder, get up a little bit earlier, train a little bit more, speed things up even more, say yes more. These are all things regardless of what stage of your life that you're in and what stage that your business may be in, that you could do more of these. And what happens when you do more? You're able to be more. When you do more, you're able to be more. And when you're able to be more, what does that mean to be more? That you're helping more people? That you're making more money because you help more people, you will make more money? That you're able to give back? You know, there's this big disaster going on in the Bahamas right now, and you might not be able to even take care of yourself. And you're already struggling to make ends meet for yourself, to put food on your own table, to make sure that all your bills are paid. And you're not alone. 75% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So how are you going to take care of somebody else if you can't even take care of yourself? So you want to shoot for more, to be more, so you could not only take care of yourself at the level it is that you desire, but then in a surplus of that, so then you could even give back even more. And again, it's the whole concept of if you want to be more, you've got to do more. And these things will set you up for success. You make a habit out of doing this every day, and you just watch how your life changes. And again, this isn't something that you can just turn on the switch for. This will take conscious effort. If you don't work out, it's going to take a lot of work to start working out. If you don't wake up early, if you like to sleep in, it's going to take a lot of work just to start waking up a little bit earlier. If you don't do any training already, it's going to take a lot to start doing training and making that a habit. If you're a procrastinator like me, it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of willpower to be able to speed things up and get things done as quickly as possible. And if you're by nature maybe a more pessimist, or as pessimists like to sometimes call themselves, a realist type of person, it's going to be more difficult for you to say yes. But if you could do things that challenge you. You know, we just had the 50th anniversary of the Apollo, of landing on the moon. And you know, we're going back to the moon now. Why? Why are we going to the moon? Well, John Kennedy said it in his speech. We don't do them because they're easy. We do them because they're hard. And when you do things that challenge you, when you do things that are difficult, when you do things that are hard, you're able to do more. And when you're able to do more, you're able to be more. So look, that's about all the time we've got for today's episode. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like this, hit the like button. Make sure you hit the little bell icon so whenever we go live, you don't miss out on any of these videos that we drop on here to help you out. You want to go back and revisit this? Fantastic. If you implement any of these in your life, let us know in the comments. If you like to start your day with a workout, let us know in the comments. What time do you wake up at? Let us know in the comments. What do you do to train every single day? Let us know in the comments. What do you do to speed things up so that you don't wait? And what do you do to say yes? Let us know in the comments. Share your success. Put that information out there because it will make you more successful as well. When you basically put that out there into the universe, that whole law of attraction thing, you start to do more of that. If you become known for doing these things, how much better are you going to be at doing these things? And these aren't things, again, they're not things you get directly paid for. So a lot of times these are things that are overlooked. These a lot of times are things that are overlooked that you don't always think it's too important. You kind of know it's important. You're like, yeah, you know, if I did get up earlier, I could probably do more. But they a lot of times get overlooked because you don't get directly paid for them. But trust me on these things. These things will make changes to your life that will not only make you more money, but result in you living a more fulfilling, more purposeful, more respected, whatever positive word it is that you want. These will more than likely lead to that change it is that you're looking to achieve. So that's all the time we have for today. If you've got questions on getting your real estate license or any way it is that we could help you out, call us at 813-333-2676. Again, 813-333-2676. We can help you start your real estate career, take that business to the next level, help you get started opening your own brokerage, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Call us at 813-333-2676 and let us help you achieve your dream real estate career. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. A real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate. You're watching State of Real Estate.